What's going on, fans? I'm back here with another video here set for you guys. Gonna be talking about Mr. Leon Rocky Edwards, the former champion himself. Guy was on an all-time high. Mr. Head shot dead with the comeback head kick KO victory over Kamaru Usman, who was reigning over the welterweight division for quite some time. And while he did his proverbial ring around the rosy around the welterweight division, Leon Edwards then took the throne. And after he took the throne and obviously said pound for pound, what? He is then went on a streak of then getting the trilogy of the Usman fight victory, then getting the Colby win, and then we moved into the Bilal Muhammad matchup where we started to see the cracks and we started to see the effects of Leon Edwards and his very, very telling weaknesses that he has in his game. Um, and especially after we see the performance with Sean Brady, we have to delve deep into what is really ruining potentially a great career, in my opinion, for Leon Rocky Edwards, who's honestly one of the best strikers in the game as of right now. When it comes to technique, ability, how smooth he just looks, also aesthetically, how he's built, like how his waist is and how broad his shoulders and all this other stuff. It's, bar none, one of the best things to be able to see about Leon. His grappling has improved heavily, his wrestling game as well, but he is not up to the par that he believes that he is to himself, and also a lot of people believe as well. Even though it is an underrated game that he does bring with the grappling, it was showed in the Bilal fight especially that while he is able to mix it up, that being the martial arts, with the boxing that Bilal had, him being able to just get into Leon's face, bring into that pressure, force the action, and making Leon continuously back up, and then mixing in the takedowns. It was rough for Leon. Leon couldn't be able to really handle that, as well. When the kitchen got real hot, and he started really to get to Leon, it got to him, and it got to him really fast. He started to really crumble under the pressure. And while that was taking effect and while that was hindering Leon, I will say, looking back at that fight with Bilal, he did a lot better than what we thought. I mean, hindsight being 2020, looking at what Sean Brady did to him, yeah, he did a lot better than what he did with Bilal. Even though with Bilal, you're not really worried about particularly the submission game. You're not worried about him trying to threaten it. Bilal is just looking more for control time, ground and pound. Yeah, he'll throw up a submission here and there, but it's not as much of a threat as it is compared to a Sean Brady. And Bilal kind of said it on his Twitter. He gave the homework to Sean Brady, which is true. I mean, if you look at the second fight with Kamaru Usman, he was on his way to be able to get that victory until that shin hit that chin. So while that is going on, and while, yeah, the game plan was out there for Sean Brady to be able to execute what he needed to be able to do to get the victory with Bilal pulling it out there, man, Sean Brady just executed it way better than Bilal did. He looked a lot more dangerous, a huge threat, especially in this welterweight division as of right now. Sean Brady is looking to be on a tear. I mean, he got a tremendous victory over Gilbert Burns and over a former champion like Leon Edwards. I mean, the sky is the limit for him, but this is not a Sean Brady video. This is a Leon Edwards video. So, with that being said, Leon, man, if he thought, or his coach, which made the absolute call of the year when he was against Kamaru Usman in the second fight, saying, Leon, don't let him bully your son. Don't let him bully Leon. If Kamaru Usman was bullying Leon in that fight, and Bilal was bullying him in that fight, this was literally a bully trying to tell you to jump off the bridge, and if you didn't, he was going to force you off of the bridge, and that was Sean Brady. Sean Brady was on another realm in terms of pressure. His boxing looks a lot better, in my opinion. Beforehand, it was very, rudimentary. It like didn't even really get the job done, but it was passable. But he really worked on it very hard. You can definitely obviously tell that he did. And he's made his strides in terms of the striking game, in my honest opinion. And again, that just brings more issues to Leon Edwards because while the striking game is tremendous and his distance control is elite, when he just gets hit with that pressure, man, he just continues to move back, move back, move back. He's not moving laterally. He's not moving to side side. He's not trying to be able to cut angles and get out of the way. He's just continuously trying to be able to create distance, and while he is doing that, it's giving him a disadvantage because he's continuously getting pushed back. And while he's getting pushed back, he's more susceptible to be able to get a takedown on him. And with Sean Brady and how he's able to mix it in with his grappling and his tremendous submission threats that he has, it's just a problem, man. I mean, him with Hamza Chimaev, you can just imagine what Hamza would have did to him in prior years before, and that matchup never came to fruition. Shavkat, I think Shavkat for sure beats Leon Edwards, without a doubt. And I think, unfortunately, when you're talking about the belt and real contenders for the welterweight belt, I think you have to take Leon Edwards out of there. I think he has to be out of the conversation. He's not up to the par of the grappling of those levels of those guys that I've already mentioned. I don't think in a rematch he definitely has no chance against Sean Brady. Maybe he has a better chance against Bilal, but I would still favor Bilal. Bilal will be the favorite in that matchup. Same thing that I mentioned with Shavkat. So if you're going to be matching him up with fighters, you're going to be matching him up with strikers. And the strikers that are in the welterweight division as of right now, um, obviously, especially with the old guard of it being Kamaru Usman and Colby, they're still in like the top 15, but I don't think they're up to the par of the other guys as well. I mean, if you match them up with JDM, I think JDM breaks him. Uh, Under the pressure and just the boxing ability that JDM has, I think he breaks him. I think Ian Gary is a very, very tough fight because Ian Gary has been working on his grappling with Truth the Bulk, Charles Oliveira, and he's really working demonstrably on that and trying to be able to really be a more well-rounded fighter. And he's still, pretty good on the feet, even though he's getting worse. But that's because he's vegan, whatever the case may be. You match him up against MVP. I think MVP gives Leon Edwards fits on the feet. If he's able to do what he's able to do against Sharon Magomedov and Kevin Holland, and Ian Gary has to beat him by wet blanketing him and just grappling, MVP is going to give Leon issues. Even though I do think that it would be a great matchup. Carlos Prates, I think the power advantage 100%, even though the technique ability and more technical aspect of the striking is towards Leon, the power of Carlos Prates is the negating factor that kind of, negates Leon's technique and his prowess with that. It's really rough to be able to put any type of matchup, in my honest opinion, for Leon Edwards next. He really has to be able to work on his game like tremendously. Again, his grappling, his wrestling is very underrated, but for some odd reason, his IQ is just out of there because he just wants to be able to get in there and prove a point and show that, yeah, I can wrestle, I can grapple with the best, I can take down a wrestler, I can take down a grappler. And it's like, dude, you don't have to be able to just prove that at all. Just have great takedown defense and stay on the feet and do what you do best on the feet, which is being elite with distance control, being very technical with your kicks, your punches, your elbows, your knees. They're absolutely like, chef kiss. It's absolutely tremendous what he's able to do on the feet. But Leon needs to be able to stand more of his ground. He needs to be able to know that he can, withstand the pressure and what's coming into him. Pause. In terms of whatever is going to be coming his way and stand his ground a lot more and being able to trade, understandably so. Yes, you want to be able to know that you can be able to have your space, have your distance, and make your work the best that you can. But there's times where it gets rough, it gets jagged, it gets nasty in there, and you have to be able to be a dog. And Leon doesn't have that dog, man. He don't got that dog in him. He just doesn't. It's obviously to tell. When things get rough, when things get tough, you look at the Bilal fight, he did pretty okay, compared to what he did with Sean Brady. He did okay, even though he was getting controlled most of the majority of the fight. He did all right. You know, Bilal kind of exposed him with the boxing and his boxing defense. You know, when you get in close and you get rid of the space that Leon just continuously wants to be able to have, it's an issue for him. You know, when you get real in that space, he doesn't really know how to. I'm not gonna say he doesn't know how to defend it, but he doesn't know how to defend it better than what it was if it's on the outside, on the outfoot, in his realm, in his space, and on his timing of what he wants to be able to do. And Sean Brady took that of what Bilal had and took it to another stratosphere. He completely nullified anything that Leon had to be able to give to him. Leon had a decent, pretty good actually first round, and then from there on, it was just Sean Brady just running through Leon Edwards like a butter knife through hot butter, man. Like a butter knife through hot butter, just real smooth, real easy, no issues, no problems. Understandably so. There's been a lot of talk from Sean Brady about how Leon's been salty and also his team and how they took it, the loss, that being after the fight. Understandably so. I get it. Was he overlooking Sean Brady? I can definitely see that happening because, Sean Brady doesn't have a real big name. He's not really known. He just beat Gilbert Burns, but Gilbert Burns is kind of washed, and Leon just came off the belt, and he wants to get the rematch, and he's really hunting for the belt again. So I can definitely see how, especially the high ties as well. There's been a lot of talk that from Sean Brady, that he was really overlooking Sean Brady, 100%. I think that, and also I did predict that I thought Leon Edwards was able to have his underrated grappling work to his effect and do what he needs to be able to do. But clearly, especially from the onset, when I seen that first round and how it kind of went, you could tell, man. Leon is breakable. You can break his will. You can break his spirit. And when it gets rough in there, it's pretty much your fight to win if you're fighting against Leon Edwards. But yeah, like this video if you obviously like this video. Comment your opinions on Leon Edwards, if he's ever going to work on his game, if he's ever going to get better than what he is as of right now. Is he ever going to get back to being a contender in the welterweight division? I don't think so. I think it's time for striking matchups that are really nice for Leon Edwards. And yeah, I think that's it for him. And also subscribe. Subscribe, UFC fans, MMA fans, striking fans in general. I'm here all year. I got you. You got me. Let's do it, baby. Thank you guys again for watching again, and peace.